For thousands of years, human societies depended on taxations for survival, and this has been evident right from ancient, medieval to modern-day civilization. Today, revenue generation through tax plays a vital role in the development of the economy of any nation. And as Nigeria seeks to foster economic growth and development, tax collection is imperative as an alternative source of revenue and viable means to fund critical and key infrastructural projects. The introduction of Value-Added Tax Act 2004 was therefore a game changer as a means for collection of tax on goods and services from source, making it easy to explore ways to diversify the sources of revenue generation to meet its developmental goals. It is in line with this that the tax powerhouse, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, went into partnership through a VAT Direct initiative with the Market Traders Association of Nigeria, MATN, the umbrella body for all trading associations in the nation, to, among other things, simplify payment and remittance for the market informal sector. Now, this is in line with the Tinubu administration's drive towards ease of doing business as well as increased revenue in the face of challenging economic crisis. What is the VAT Direct initiative all about? What are the major benefits of the partnership? Now, these and more we will find out from my guest, Johannes Oluwatobi Wajola, SA2, the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Services on Media and Communication. A very warm welcome to Wicked File. I am Jumma Yusuf. First, the news. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has arrived in Guinea-Bissau to attend the 63rd Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. After his arrival, the president visited the Nigerian contingent stationed in the country under the ECOWAS Stabilization Force. He expressed his appreciation and gratitude to the soldiers and their commander, General Al-Hassan Grema, for their dedication and service to Nigeria and their host country, adding that what Nigeria should continue to support democracy in West Africa and around the world. Brigadier General Grema expressed the appreciation of the troops to President Tinubu for being the first commander-in-chief in Nigeria's history to visit his soldiers outside the shore of the country. The president will participate in the summit, which takes place tomorrow, Sunday, July 9th. He is expected to address memoranda on pressing sub-regional issues, including report of the 50th Ordinary Session of the Mediation and Security Council covering security challenges faced by member countries. Other items slated for discussion include memoranda on the ECOWAS single currency program and the report on obstacles to free movement of goods on the Abuja-Lagos corridor. While in Guinea-Bissau, the Nigerian leader is scheduled to hold bilateral meetings and have other engagements on the sidelines of the summit. President Tinubu is accompanied by some members of the Presidential Policy Advisory Council and other top government officials. Now, joining me live from Guinea-Bissau is our correspondent, Garba Mohammed Nata'ala. Hello, Garba, can you hear me?
I can hear you, man. Welcome.
Okay, Garba, the summit of heads of state and government was preceded by the ministerial summit. Now, what were the main and burning issues on the table at the summit?
Thank you for joining. I spoke at the Council of Ministers meeting. They have discussed a wide number of issues pertaining to West African sub-region. They are more particular about economic growth. How can they integrate the businesses and other contingent and how can they continue to integrate the region's businesses as well as security, stability. And then they also discussed about agriculture. Agriculture has been a major issue in the sub-Saharan region. Fertilizer, they have decided to adopt Nigeria's practice on how the past administration actually handles agriculture. Rice production in particular, Nigeria was able to become food sufficient. And that was the model they discussed at the Council of Ministers meeting. they discussed about corridors where we will be doing businesses among member states, like the Lagos-Abuja corridor. President Tinubu is expected to meet 5 leaders of the West African sub-region, that is Benin, Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, as well as Togo, as well as also the custom generals within those countries, so that they can discuss about customs duties on how to facilitate movement of persons and goods and services as well. So,
okay, Garba,
with agenda. Well, actually, Guinea-Bissau is falling short of economy. Madam, can you repeat yourself?
I said, with the summit expected to focus on enhancing bilateral relations within the ECOWAS sub-region and also improving trade, what can be expected on discussions?
Yes, bilaterally and multilaterally.
So what can be expected on the discussion to break in barriers hindering the implementation of the African Free Trade Area Agreement? We talked about the Abidjan-Lagos corridor here.
Yes. Some of the barriers are usually revolving around custom duties. You know, movement is not easy within all those corridors. I might say industrial activities is going on well. The elites are enjoying most of the businesses and most of the protocols set by ECOWAS. But when you talk about the low-income earners, small businesses, they don't seem to integrate and assimilate what the ECOWAS is doing. So when President Tinubu sits with most of the leaders in the ECOWAS region, in the ECOWAS community, he will be discussing on some of these protocols and how they can remove all those barriers and those obstacles delaying the progress of the Africa Free Movement.
Okay, Garba Ta'ala from Guinea-Bissau, where the president is meeting with other African leaders to discuss on the way forward for the West African region. Thank you so much, Garba.
Thank you very much.
ECOWAS countries have concluded their submissions to their principles ahead of the 63rd Heads of State and Government Summit, which is expected to adopt protocols hindering the progress of African Continental Free Trade Agreement in the sub-region. Several other issues were raised that form part of the resolution passed by ECOWAS member states during the closing of the ministerial regional meeting convened in Guinea-Bissau. Now let's join Gambo Ta'ala for the report.
After an engaging exchange, the 90th ordinary session of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers have concluded their report on the financial situation of the institution and the implementation of African Continental Free Trade Area, as well as determined the status of political developments in the republics of Mali, Burkina Faso and Guinea, among other issues, culminating from various obstacles hindering the economic viability of the West African sub-region and the Sahel.
Nobody will develop this region for us, and it is incumbent on all of us to work hard for the development of our region, and this is what ECOWAS is doing.
In a message by the chairperson, Guinea-Bissau's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Suzy Babuza, and Permanent Secretary of Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ibrahim Lamawa, expressed appreciation for the success recorded over the years and renewed vigor shown by member states to achieve ECOWAS goals. Other issues resolved include the memoranda on the ECOWAS single currency program and obstacles along the Abidjan-Lagos corridors.
The Council took another very important decision on having a regional strategy on road maintenance. This is a very important decision which will be able to address some of the bad roads within the regions.
In preparation for the 63rd Heads of State and Governments Summit, President Tinubu is expected to hold a meeting with 4 heads of state and government, ministers of foreign affairs, trade, and controller generals of customs from Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin, and Togo on sub-regional issues. From Guinea-Bissau, I am Garba Muhammad Natala, NTA News.
Thank you, Galba. Now, the panel of inquiry set up by Anambra State government has confirmed that Mmesoma Ejikeme manipulated her unified tertiary matriculation examination results, noting that she actually scored 249 as against 362. The panel, in its 8-page report, recommends that Mmesoma should immediately tender an unreserved written apology to the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, her school, Anglican Girls Secondary School, Uruagwa, Nnewi, the state government, and she should undergo psychological counseling and therapy. The 8-member panel had been set up by Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo to investigate the controversy between the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board and Mmesoma, whose UTME result was questionable, with the mandate of making its findings public. Besides, a number of red flags highlighted by JAMB on the result also shows different date of birth, different registration number, and notification of results templates that has been discarded since 2021, amongst others. Now, the father of the 19-year-old Mmesoma Ejikeme has apologized to JAMB and Nigerians for his daughter's falsification of her UTME result. He said she lied to him. Chinyere Fesi Okoye also reports that with this latest development, the sum of 3 million scholarship offered her by an Nnewi businessman has been withdrawn.
Arrival at the residential home of Mr. Romanus Ejikeme, father of Mmesoma Ejikeme. Mmesoma saw us and took to her heels, but we were able to get the reaction of the father.
I don't expect that she will do this kind of thing. She did what she's supposed to do. Are you getting me? She's brilliant enough to avoid this kind of thing. And I'm still apologizing to the whole Nigerians and JAM to pardon.
Efforts to get reaction of any member of the panel of inquiry set up by the Anambra State government and the school authority at the time of filing this report did not yield positive results, but some concerned citizens speak.
Generally, I see it as a reflection of the level of moral and social decadence. If she knew that she was to be punished accordingly, I think that she wouldn't have been tempted, encouraged to get into that. 2 or 3 ladies or one lady who has a human heart can take her in and discover how. You need to unearth how. Because if she's a teenager and an adult is somewhere deceiving her, planting all those rubbish in her, the rot would have fallen on that person, not Mmesoma. How can she manipulate JAMB website in her phone and she was unable to show you how she manipulated it? The first mission is to show us how you did that.
Meanwhile, Nnewi-based businessman who earlier awarded 3 million naira scholarship to Mmesoma in a press statement says the scholarship has been withdrawn following the UTME score manipulation. From Nnewi, Chinyere Fesi Okoye, NTA News.
And joining me in the studio is JAMB spokesman Dr. Fabian Benjamin. You're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you very much. I consider this a very huge privilege.
It's a pleasure to have you. Let's go straight to the point. Before now, JAMB's experience was that of multiple registration by candidates who wanted higher marks. Today, it is candidates inflating or forging higher UTME marks. Who do you think is responsible for this, and what?
I think at this point we should be looking at the lesson learned from what had happened in the last a week and couple of days. That a 19-year-old girl was almost setting the nation ablaze is something that all of us should be ashamed of. If we have a society that cares about values, a society that believes its agencies, institutions, I think we wouldn't have gotten ourselves in this kind of a mess. But the good news is that at least now the public will know the kind of system that the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has, that we have built credibility over a period of time, and our system is so secure that nobody can at least penetrate. I want to make this very clear because one of the commentators was talking about website or whether hacking and stuff like that. Our system was never tampered with. What this lady did was just to get a particular slip that we had used in 2021, manipulated the figures on it, just as you said, maybe in a business center with our phone. If you go online, you see so many apps that could assist you to do some of these things. And then she printed it out and was deceiving the gullible public. Let us at this point begin to build our trust in government agencies. The society, Nigeria is not as bad as others we want us to believe. It is quite unfortunate that even people that should know, those who have held public office, who were given certain responsibility, could stoop down so low to begin to believe some of these things that one could sit down and then unravel within a second or a minute. I want to say that, look, our system was never tampered with. We are not discouraged. We will continue to serve Nigeria with integrity, and we will do the needful to ensure that such a thing never happen again.
Yes, you talked about the lessons learned. Now, what is government doing to bring down this type of, sites on the website where students can just go in? And would you put a time on how long this has been going on?
Well, it's not the role of government alone. There is no society that is built by only government. Everybody's hand must be on deck for us to build a nation that all of us will be proud of. Today we have over 100 and something cases in court of such developer of such apps that we are prosecuting here and there. We will get wary over this particular issue, and if we are not careful, we'll begin to be distracted from our primary responsibility of conducting the selection examination for admission into tertiary institution. We want to call on everybody, because when this case came up, it is natural that the first person that had seen this thing would have done some work. If you look at what I think Professor Kafo was saying, that if we have a society that cares about value, at least even the principal of that school, even the teachers in that school should have questioned this particular. I don't believe it's only Mesoma in that school that sat for this examination. If out of 1.6 million candidates, and then you are bringing something that is strange, at least somebody should ask question. How come you have something that nobody is parading? These are ways that you could have at least. The center that she said the examination is in Anambra State, and it's common that you should know that, okay, this is not the address of this center. So there are so many things, that have so many red flags on that particular paper that she was carrying, that at least a rational mind will just know that, look, what you are parading is not genuine. More so that even when we came on air, provided statistics, provided necessary information, evidence to prove that this is not from us, some certain individuals still didn't believe. That is the kind of nation that we have. But I want to believe that with what had happened now, with what people have seen, it should be a big lesson for everybody, that whenever such things come up, we should always make haste slowly in making comments, in making contributions, so that at the end of the day we won't find ourselves where most Nigerians have found ourselves in the midst of this particular saga. Okay, in 30 seconds, do you think putting a price tag on the best candidate is the right thing to do? Maybe this is what must have cost it? Well, for us, I feel like whatever is being given to people that have done well in education is even not up to what should be given. People that deserve honor should be given. If you go to the entertainment industry today, somebody will just dance somewhere and is giving hundreds of millions. So education should also have a share of such honors and awards and all these things. But in doing that, let us do it. Let us follow the right path in doing it. It is only natural that when you want to confirm anything, the issuing institution should also be taken into consideration. We have MTN Foundation. Whenever they want to give away, they write to us. Give us the first base, the best 10, the best 20, and all this. Okay, Dr. Other banks also do same. So if Innocent wants to give award, or whoever wants to give award, you can also at least write to us that we should give you the best candidate and all this. Or you wait for when we announce it, not to go to believe anybody that is parading any paper on the street. Okay, Dr. Fabian, JAM spokesperson, thank you so much for coming on Weekend 5. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, 171 students have been matriculated into various departments at the third matriculation ceremony of Thomas Adewumi University, Oko Iresi, Kwara State. Vice Chancellor Thomas Adewumi University Professor Francisca Oladipo told the matriculating students to take advantage of the institution's innovative curriculum to become enterprising and self-reliant individuals upon graduation. Kainde Omolosho completes the report.
Thomas Adewumi University, Okoirese, runs 21 courses in 6 faculties, all accredited by the National Universities Commission. The university provides cutting-edge, world-class education through teaching and research, thereby playing an important role in economic recovery and making sure the society is resilient in the future.
We are putting so much effort to ensure that our facilities are world-class, that our students have access to materials from MIT in the USA, that we have partnership with Oracle, with Microsoft, with IBM.
Thomas Adeomi University has become the vanguard of changing the narratives by teaching the students how to behave and conduct themselves appropriately.
Founder Thomas Adeomi University, Dr. Johnson Adeomi, wants the students to see the admission into the university as a journey that will transform their dreams to reality.
Matriculating students to pay attention to the oath that they have taken today. The oath dictates exactly what they need to do to be able to graduate in this university.
I will try to work very hard and become a first-class student.
I tend to work hard and open my own hospital.
Founded in year 2020, Thomas Adeomi University, Okoirese, aims at becoming a major key player in the delivery of university education of the highest quality in Nigeria, while producing graduates with skills that will transform the socio-economy of the country. Kehinde Omolosho, NTA News.
Now let's bring you up to speed with other reports. The Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs has asked the Swedish authorities to investigate the burning of Quran in front of the central mosque in Stockholm. The council in a statement urged the Swedish authorities to make the findings public and ensure that justice is done. While condemning the action, the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs urged Muslims the world over to remain calm and continue to be peaceful and law-abiding. We'll take a break. When we return, Weekend File will continue. Do stay. Thanks for rejoining us. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, is collaborating with the Market Traders Association of Nigeria, MATAN, to promote awareness of value-added tax, VAT, in the marketplace as it concerns the informal sector. Boside Abel has details.
Nigeria, one of the largest economies in Africa, has more than 80% of its population in the informal sector, according to the International Monetary Fund. And going by the findings of SBM Intelligence, 98% of businesses and entrepreneurs within this sector are annual taxpayers. The survey, however, notes that the majority of such taxes never come into the coffers of either the federal or state revenue collection agencies. With this realization, the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Market Traders Association of Nigeria are synergizing to block revenue leakages. This collaboration hopes to ensure that the collection and remittance of value-added tax, VAT, from this sector eliminates multiple taxation.
If your turnover is below 25 million, you are not, expected to charge and remit VAT. We're not going after these very small businesses who are trying to make a living. I just want to debunk that perception, since this was launched. Already, the MATAN, Market Traders Association, have a technology that they're using to enumerate their members. So we are just supporting them to make that as robust as possible so that the enumeration captures the traders, details, as well as issues them a TIN number.
As the biggest player in Nigeria's market space, with membership of over 40 million traders across the country, a combined monitoring and evaluation team comprising both organizations is expected to be formed to ensure transparency and accountability of the project operations.
We have devices that we deployed to the different markets. From these devices, once a trader comes forward to make daily payment, for instance, an e-receipt is generated from the POS device or whatever device. An e-receipt is generated. That e-receipt contains unique information about that transaction that trader has made. All of this information goes into the system to ensure that there's proper accounting.
Bringing all these associations together, sensitizing them to ensure that they all key into the VAT Direct initiative.
This new government is trying to do something that will benefit we, the Nigerians, especially the youth. If you can see, just the youth here all in this office.
This initiative, stakeholders say, will improve VAT collection and revenue base at sub-national level, where citizens will ultimately benefit as the country experiences economic development. In Abuja, Bosede Ebo, NTA News.
Thank you, Bosede. Thank you, Bosede, for that insightful report. And that sets the tone for our conversation. And my guest is Johannes Oluwatobi Wajola, SA to the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Services. He's a Media and Communication Special Advisor. Thank you so much for coming on Weekend 5.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Now let's talk about this partnership and what it entails.
Well, it's a partnership. What really?
First of its kind, actually.
Well, yes, indeed, the first of its kind. I think it's good to look at this from a historical point of view. That the FIRS has always seen the informal sector as an untapped area in terms of taxation. We have always believed that there's so much more that can be done with the informal sector in terms of getting that sector to bringing them or making them formal, so to say. Other attempts in the past have been made, but they did not see the light of day. And what we now have is a successful partnership with the mother body, and for us, we believe that it's a stepping stone to bringing that sector outside the scope of the tax net, and bringing them in. What are the terms or wide terms of this partnership? One, it's to enumerate the sector, to get members of people in the marketplaces, and also it's important to restate that the marketplace we're talking about is not necessarily the plantain seller, the bole seller, or the fish seller, or the granite tomato seller. It's people who are involved in business in the marketplace, who have not registered their businesses, or who have not even registered for taxes. Those are the people we are looking at here, and people who transact over a certain threshold within a period of a year, and that is what the law requires. That is 25 million, annual turnover of 25 million naira. And there are other VAT exempt items which we are not expecting those traders to join the VAT Direct initiative, which include those who trade in medical services, agricultural services, the yam sellers, the food items, and all of that. They are exempt from the VAT Direct initiative. But we're looking at people who are in the electronics business, people who sell phones. The famous Balogun market, for instance, where you buy expensive materials and millions of naira is transacted in these marketplaces on a day-to-day basis. You go to Kantinkweri in Kano State, millions of naira, gold traders, and they are not captured in the tax net. So this partnership is going to first and foremost enlighten and educate the traders through the umbrella of Martin on their obligations as taxpayers, or their obligations, as citizens or as businesses. Get them to understand that, as a businessman, you are selling electronics. You should keep records. As a businessman, you ought to pay taxes. This is why your taxes are important for you to pay. And all of those things. We also would, as part of this initiative, and very, very crucial to this partnership, is the enumeration. Now, enumeration in this context is simply assessing, registering, and assessing the membership of MATAN. Let's validate, this well over 40 million members that they have across the country. Let's know who is who. Let's know what
huge boost. It's a huge boost to ease of doing business in Nigeria now.
And you see, another crucial thing that forms part of this collaboration between the Federal Inland Revenue Service and MATAN is the issue of tackling multiple taxation in the marketplace. Over the conversations that have taken place between the leadership of MATAN and the leadership of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, one of the major things that has been raised by the Market Traders Association is multiple taxation. The activities of touts, the activities of miscreants, self-imposed tax collectors who come and say, okay, fine, today you are paying roofing fee, tomorrow you are paying this levy and all of that. We don't know where the money goes to, and of course it affects even the price of goods and services. Now, this partnership, working with MATAN, working with the Joint Tax Board, the State Internal Revenue Services, and crucially, the security agencies would work towards ensuring that the taxes that are collected in our marketplace are the legal taxes. Taxes that have already been specified by law. They can be collected by the federal government, they can be collected by the state government, and they can be collected by the local government. So we're these three heads, I would say, largely the Federal Inland Revenue Service, MATAN, and the security agencies will work towards ensuring that only these legal taxes are collected and are collected properly and are well accounted for. So you don't have a situation where a trader has paid every day. He will pay 1,000 naira in the name of one due. He pays 600 naira in the name of another due. He pays, so many things happening in the marketplace, and they are not even seeing the benefits to themselves. So that in itself is a long-term journey for us towards sanitizing the marketplace and also harmonizing our tax system, which is fragmented and lacking any form of harmonization.
Yes, indeed, Toby, to sort of lessen the burden on businesses. So we'll take a break. When we return, our conversation will continue. Do stay.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back, and this is Weekend File, and I still have my guest in the studio, Johannes Oluwatobi Wajiola. He's XA to the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Services on Media and Communications. Toby, yes, the FIRS has been successful in the deployment of technology through the tax Promax and the tax collection. Now, how is technology going to work with MATAN using the unified systems technology that we mentioned earlier?
So let's start from the Tax Promax first and foremost. The Tax Promax is the FIRS homegrown solution for tax administration generally. And what does the Tax Promax do? On the Tax Promax, the taxpayer can register for tax, file their tax returns, and also pay their taxes. As at January 2023, the service introduced a new module, which is the e-tax clearance certificate, the ETCC. So at the click of a button, a taxpayer can get his TCC, via the Tax Promax. So that is the Tax Promax on one hand. On the other hand, we have what we call the Integrated Revenue Management System, which is an automated solution that is owned by MATAN. And this solution was launched in 2021 by MATAN. They have used this system to enumerate their members. They have used this system to collect dues for their members. They've used the system to harmonize the collection and the payment of personal income tax to the state governments where they operate for their members. What FIRS is going to be doing, even though a lot of the details of the handshake between the two technologies is still being fine-tuned, but largely what we are going to be seeing is a situation where Martin's existing platform will continue to operate, will be more or less upgraded. Our technical teams are working with Martin to upgrade that. That becomes the platform for Martin to enumerate its members, the activities of its members, both the financial activities and also the business activities as well. And also, there will now be a handshake between the Tax Pro Max and the Martin system, which would now, through what our tech guys would say, an API. So all of that will now translate to, the system where you can now collect and account for the taxes that are collected from the Market Traders Association. But like I said, a lot of the details of this is still being fine-tuned, between the technical teams and of Martin and also the FIRS. And as we finalize and fine-tune all of them, we will now be able to engage with the members and properly educate them on how the processes will go. But right now, currently, a lot of what we're focusing on is on the enlightenment, letting Nigerians know that this partnership exists. This is what the details of the partnership are. These are the details. Also, we're enlightening their members, especially on tax education, so that they understand what their obligations are as citizens and why it pays to pay your tax, like we often say. Then on the other arm, and crucially, is the enumeration, which is a very, 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 is a handful process. Getting to know who are these members you say are your members, what are their business activities, what are their turnovers, and all those necessary details that we need.
Okay, Toby, you've been talking about numbers. What's the numbers like, and how can it boost, the revenue generation in the country? Because President Tinubu in his inaugural speech said the economy of this country is on the burner. We must look into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think at the core of this is the fact that we need to expand on the tax nets. The current numbers, though I don't have that off the cuff, of Nigerians paying taxes, a very negligible and embarrassing amount. And these are the initiatives that are actually being brought up by the FIRS to say that, we need to expand the tax net. We need to get more Nigerians to understand why they should pay their taxes, and also, how they should pay their taxes. We're really looking at ensuring that the informal sector, like your report had earlier stated, and though it's common knowledge, over 80%, which constitutes about 80% of our economy, and over 90% of that amount of people are not paying their taxes. They don't even understand how to pay their taxes and why to pay their taxes. This is a long-term journey to bring this huge number of people into the tax net. And if we're to go by the membership of Martin as stated, 40 million businesses or 40 million members engaged in one business or the other, ranging from different things. Even if we're to just bring 50%, even if we're to bring just 25% of the body, even 10% of that body into the tax net, it was going to change things dramatically. And it's a stepping stone to a long-term journey, and also a stepping stone to a long-term entrance into the informal sector, which, like I said earlier, is largely untapped in terms of the tax conversation.
Okay, Johannes Oluwatobi Wajola, essay to the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Services, Media and Communication. Thank you so much for coming on Weekend File. I pay my tax. It's taken out of my salary anyway. Thanks for coming.
It's a pleasure.
We'll take a break. When we return, Weekend File continues. Do stay. You're welcome back, and still on the economy. As part of strategies to boost the economy of Africa, stakeholders at the Rabat conference have advocated youth engagements and improved bilateral trades in Africa. Austin Idemodu shared their perspectives during a conference on Africa growth and integration in Rabat, Morocco.
Rabat, the capital city of Morocco, is fast becoming a rallying point for African countries as part of the socio-economic strategies by Morocco to build a united and strong economy in the African continent through interactions and investments. Bella Faiza from Nigeria and Brian Lamte from Ghana are students in Morocco. They are opportune to be part of the conference being championed by Morocco to promote mutual cooperation and development amongst African countries.
Has always been big when it comes to bringing African countries together, whether it's from the north to the south, the east or the west. So a program like this just shows how far they go.
But we need altogether to have in mind that we have youth and we have populations that need jobs and works and employment, and we need to create a lot of opportunities for jobs. We cannot do it by being isolated. And
part of the issues identified as bottlenecks to the growth of trade in Africa include unnecessary trade restrictions by the imposition of visa travels amongst African countries.
Unity and development, because I think that's one thing we've lacked in a long time in Africa, like African countries coming together. So I think with this, it will definitely promote unity.
But also universities and academies for football and for sports. These are also infrastructures. And these kind of infrastructures, all these kind of infrastructures have major impact on societies and on social impacts.
The recommendations emanating from the conference support the efforts of the King of Morocco and African countries to promote sustainable cooperation and development of African talents as well as capacity building. In Rabat, Morocco, I'm Austin Idemodu, NTA News.
Sport update is next.
The third Governor Doye Diri National Scrabble Championship is ongoing in Yenagoa as African champion Enoch Nwali topped the table with 9 wins out of 12 games with a plus 891 cumulative points to take the honors at the expense of Godwin Victor with 7 wins and a plus 740 cumulative points, while Doko Oluwatimileyin came third with 624 cumulative points. Timi Pere Ohia reports that the 2-day event serves as final preparations for the Nigeria contingent to World Scrabble Championship holding in the United States from July 15.
For the Team Nigeria that is going to the US to participate in the Scrabble World Championship, it's going to be a very keen competition.
Super Falcons forward Asisat Oshoala has been shortlisted for the 2023 Ballon d'Or Award. The announcement was made by France Football, organizers of the award. Nigerian star was nominated for the Socrates category, which identifies the best solidarity actions carried out by committee champions. She is one of the 5 individuals shortlisted for the award. In another development, the opening match of the 2023-2024 season of the Nigeria Women's Football League recorded 21 goals in 6 matches played Saturday as Pelican Stars cruised to a comfortable 2-1 victory, while Kwara Ladies lost by a goal to 2 to Dana Ladies in Group A, while in Group B, Sunshine Queens beat Prince Karim by a lone goal. Elsewhere, the Confederation of African Football CAF has approved the cancellation of the playoff round second preliminary of the CAF Confederation Cup after a meeting in Morocco. The 16 winning clubs of the second preliminary round will qualify directly to the group stage of both the CAF Champions League and the Confederation Cup, beginning from the 2023-2024 season. Still on football, the president of Nigerian National League side, FC1 Rockets of Eket, and member of NFF board NTA has bemoaned the inability of his club to secure promotion to the Nigeria Premier Football League at the end of the NNL Super 8 in Asaba, Delta State.
It is a shame that we've let our supporters down.
With sports updates, Ayodeji, Makinde, NTA News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima condoles the family of late Mukhtar Alkali in Maiduguri. Aged 57, Mukhtar Alkali, who was the Vice President's nephew, died on Friday in Abuja after a protracted illness. His funeral prayer was held at the family home of the Vice President in Maiduguri. Late Mukhtar Alkali was former Provost Muhammad Lawan College of Agriculture, Maiduguri. He survived by one wife and 11 children, among other relatives. A quick check on the weather prospect for Nigeria and the rest of the world is next. Well, that's NTA. That's Weekend File this week. Thanks so much for watching. I am Jummai Yusuf.